3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Rabbi Levi Langer. I'm the Dean of the Kollel Jewish Learning Center, and we're here to be a resource for the community, to study with community members, to give lectures to community members, and just to be there for people who want to increase their understanding of Jewish tradition and Jewish beliefs. The idea of caring for one's body is a very important value in Judaism, and it's codified in Jewish law by Maimonides and by many others. And in order to be able to properly care for one's body, one has to familiarize oneself with what mainstream medicine has to teach us. You can't just go with wacko theories that are out there on the internet, so you'll never get anywhere. Part of being responsible and caring for oneself is to understand what modern medicine has to teach us, and all of those things, they go into what a person has to do in order to responsibly care for oneself.
Excellent. So you started kind of getting into where, age of consent, where should someone go if they want information? How does an 18-year-old even start to answer a question like this when there's so many opinions? And when would they come to you for advice?
Okay. It's all really the way that a person becomes familiar with any topic in life, which is important and which you're not an expert on yourself, is by finding someone who can be a mentor or can be a guide to you, someone you consider you respect their expertise in the field, and someone who you believe you'll be able to be taught by them. In addition, you can obviously study on your own as well. You want to make sure that your sources of information are those which are widely accepted and those which have the credentials. And both of those two things together go together in providing a person with the ability to come up with an informed decision. When the question is one which involves Torah values and Jewish values as well, it would be perhaps appropriate to bring a rabbi or someone knowledgeable, learned in Judaism into the picture as well. The question at hand today, we're going to discuss about inoculation. It would be necessary to actually go through both of these processes, because the way that Jewish tradition will be able to provide guidance on this would be by first understanding what medicine has to teach us and what mainstream medicine has to teach us today, and then the Jewish law would kick in and tell us how you would go about in following medicine. So there's actually a two-step process over here, and a person is responsible. A responsible individual goes through both of these. You want to find out, inform yourself, and educate yourself about what medicine has to teach us, and then you want to find out what Judaism tells us about adhering to that.
Excellent. Exactly what I need. Do you want? We can skip the Kivud V'Aim question. Let's go to the next one. Responsibility in prioritizing your individual goals versus the good of the community. So the kid doesn't want to hurt him, doesn't want the hurt of a shot, but what does it do to the community? What's your responsibility to the community when it comes to these kinds of issues? So if you could repeat the question first and then answer.
When it comes to inoculating oneself, some people feel that they have what's called the herd immunity, which is that you can rely on the fact that everyone else is inoculated, and therefore measles or mumps or whatever it is unlikely to spread in the community because so many others are inoculated as well. This is something which at some level is obviously going to fall down. It just takes enough people to rely on the herd immunity, and then there's no more herd immunity left. And lately, very unfortunately, we've been seeing that happen in modern life, that enough people shirk their responsibility to the public and to the community, and they just rely on what everybody else is doing, and then it turns out, lo and behold, that so many people are doing it that we're lacking with the community, which really has that kind of immunity. Really, the reality is, of course, that people have to be responsible, and they have to be responsible not only to themselves, but to the community as a whole as well. There's no doubt whatsoever that Judaism has always taught that. We have responsibilities to ourselves and to others as well. That's part of being a responsible Jewish individual, is leading a life of moral uprightness, the way that's good for yourself and the way that's good for others as well. You're responsible to so many others, and that really comes to the fore in a question like this one, inoculation, where really we need the community as a whole to be responsible and to do the appropriate thing to get immunized, and that way, as a whole, all of us are inoculated, and we have a community which has this kind of a wall against coming down with mumps and measles and so many things that we thought we were done with, until unfortunately we see that people have begun shirking their responsibility in this regard.
So, preschools and schools in general have a policy that you need to be inoculated in order to attend. The only way out of it is to say you have a religious objection. So some people are using Judaism, using our religion, and saying that's why they're not inoculating their kids. Do you want to respond to how you feel about people using Judaism as a reason not to inoculate?
There are some people who have been saying that since there's a religious exemption clause, which you can opt out of being inoculated because there's a religious exemption. If your religion is against it, if your religion is opposed to it, and therefore we can opt out of it today as religious Jews. The reality is, of course, that it's really untruthful to suggest that religious Judaism has some direct objection to inoculations. It doesn't say in the Talmud, "Thou shalt not inoculate yourself." What you're really saying is that religious Judaism believes in caring for ourselves responsibly, and you made the independent decision that it's wrong to inoculate, and therefore you're blaming it on Judaism. Judaism has enough things that it gets blamed for. We don't want to be blamed for irresponsible approach, which follows some wacko thing that you found on the internet somewhere. The reality is, you should be honest. What Judaism has to say about this matter is nothing more or less than you should be responsible for taking care of your body, and the way to do that is to follow and to find out what mainstream medicine has to say about it.
Woohoo! I'm sorry. It was great. That was great. Okay, so let's get to that last question about how would you feel if a student approached you with a question and it was someone you didn't know, maybe it isn't even an Orthodox student, and if you're open to that, then how would they actually reach you? So you can even give the phone number here and your email if you want. How do you prefer for kids to contact you if they want to be in touch? And frankly, there might be some Hillel and Yeshiva kids who would want to contact you and they're afraid.
Okay.
I mean, you're the top. So,
okay, well, we at the Kollel, and myself particularly, we're here to be there for the community, to be a resource, and to be there if someone wants to ask us questions about what Judaism has to teach about any particular subject or the subject at hand. And if someone wants to contact me, they're certainly always free to do so. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter what their background is, and that's part of what we see as our mission here at the Kollel. I certainly invite everyone to feel free to contact me. You can do so by email if you like. My email is Langer, 2 L's, Langer at kollelpgh, kollelpgh.org. Please feel free to do so. Some people do so. They ask me questions by email. And if you like, after the email, we can talk by phone or get together personally. Whatever it is, you can call me if you like. The Kollel number is 412-420-0220, and my extension is 205. Whatever it is, I'm glad to be of service to anyone who would like to discuss any matter pertaining to Judaism, this matter, or whatever it is. And I really feel that that's a part of my mission here in the community.
That's perfect. So, do you want us to leave the Kibbutz Av V'Aim?
Yeah, let's leave it.
Okay, no problem.